We tried different kinds of wheat, barley, oats, triticale, and we put it in strips, and then we gave them a chance to eat whatever they wanted. And the cattle cleaned it all up, but they ate the barley first, then the wheat, then the oats and triticale last. We don't find it a problem. What we plant, the reason we plant what we do is to get the most volume we can get per acre. Palatability first, volume next. So we plant enough different varieties. We mix lots of varieties together, buy a silage mix from the neighborhood, but we have some grain that's a little shorter and going ripe, and we have some oats that's tall, that's just heading out. We'll throw some wheat in there, we'll throw some peas in there, whatever is available. Next year we're going to plant triticale for the first time again in probably 10 or 15 years, and it's to break the barley cycle. Because the neighbors tell me that you need to break the barley cycle because of leaf disease. They're all grain farmers, and yet I'm getting 220 cows an acre on my swath grazing, so I don't really care about leaf disease. The problem I think leaf disease hit me the last couple of years is that this past year we had to swath our crop already mid to late August, which is 2 months earlier than normal because it was getting ripe. Now, was it ripe because of a hot, dry summer, or was it ripe because of some leaf disease? We're going to try and break the cycle and see.
At one time we used oats. Now we're into oats barley, and we'll seed a bushel of barley and about a bushel and a quarter oats. And that barley gets to the grain stage by the time the oats is in the milk stage. This year we've got some kale in that mix, so it's a little less oats and a little less barley, and 2 pounds per acre of kale were spread on that ground, and that one looks to have some promise. The kale really did yield, so there's somewhere from 30 to 50% of that stand is kale, and it's 23-26% protein. TDN up there 68 to 70%, so it's the kale part of that ration has really bumped up the quality. And whether it looks like there's more than there is, I guess it's a totally different plant. It's got that big broad leaf on it that looks great when you cut it, and 4 months later when the calf's eating it, it's shriveled up to a lot less than it looked then. So maybe we got fooled a little bit on yield, but that's part of the journey, I guess, is to find those crops that will hang in there and deliver some tonnage.
We mainly use barley and oats over the years. We have used spring triticale 1 year. You know, you'd run into leaf disease if you go barley on barley too much. Oats can tend to grow too rank and become a bit unpalatable. So we have kind of moved back and forth, and we will break up the barley cycle and grow straight oats now and then, or we'll grow a 50-50 mix, or we'll go with straight barley. Those have been crops that have worked really well for us.
The cereals we use is predominantly Mustang with the oats, and then whichever barley we can get out of the bin close by from one of our neighbours, so we're not terribly worried about the cereals.
The cost of the millet seed had become reasonable, and we were able to seed a crop at around $12 an acre for the seed, which is as reasonable as seeding a cereal crop.
I think the weathering of the triticale in the swath does not deteriorate it, especially from a palatability standpoint. It probably does at some point deteriorate a little bit nutritionally, but the cows have never stopped eating it. I've even baled it and fed it the next year, and they eat it every bit as vigorously as what they would in a swath. I mean, I'm sure it's not as good nutritionally, but the palatability is still there.